So, as discussed in the last video lecture, we'll be going on ahead with our series of questions. So, these questions were left to print these three patterns and also an Armstrong number. So, to explain the concept of Armstrong number, I'll just take an example of a number 153. So, a number to be an Armstrong number, we first need number of digits. Number of digits. So, number of digits are 3. Then we need all the separate values and add the cube of all of them. So if you calculate this, it comes out to be 153. It implies that this number 153 is an Armstrong number. Now, before doing this question, I need to teach you something called comprehension. So suppose first of all, let's say there is a for loop for I in L1 and there is a list L1. Okay. So I have already told you the use of for loop, right? It's for iterations. Now, let's suppose you always do for I in range, right? But suppose there is a list L1 and you need to traverse through its elements. There is a list L1, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Suppose you want to traverse through these elements without using the range function. So you can just what you can just do? You can just traverse like this. This is the syntax for traversing. If you say print I, it will print all the values from 1 to 4 and then stop, right? Now, when you were using range function, I changed from 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 as per the range given. But here I is the value of this list. So in the same way, if you will print here, sorry, if you will print here, it will give 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now, what is a comprehension? So this is a list comprehension. So what is actually happening here? So these brackets are used for just for making a list. So I for I in L1, if I modulus 2 equal to 0. This is condition for even number. So what will this print? It will print all the number I in this list L1 which are even. So it prints 2 and 4 as a list. Now let us suppose you don't put these brackets here, right? If you don't put these brackets here, uh, okay, so there is this bracket we'll have to, yeah. So if suppose we don't put this bracket here, right? So what will it print? It will print that there is an generator object at this location. So it won't really, show us what is inside that object. We can most probably also write list here to convert it into a list and it will come out as a list. All right. Now I also want to tell you a shortcut to know how many number of digits are there. So in a number 1, 2, 3, 4, there are total of 4 digits. One method is to find it by using modulus and floor division, right? But there is a simple method. So this is currently a number, but we'll just convert it into a string. Let's say this is a variable a and we convert it into a string. Now string has a function to find length that is called len, Lena. Now you have the number of digits that is 4. I'll just show you the example for it. Let's say there is one number 4, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you convert a equals to string of a, then you write length is equals to len of a, then you print length. So 6 comes out, right? So this is a shortcut method to find the length of a number. Now, what does this our question Armstrong number question says? It says that we have to cube, all right, we have to cube the sum of digits. So first of all, let's take a number, input, input, enter a number. Then what we need to do? We need to find the number of digits. So digits and digits equals to length of string of a. All right. So this is the number of digits we have here. Now we have number of digits and we need to print the square of sum of all the digits. So to print the square of all the digits, print. So we can just say len, sorry, sum of uh, in sum of cube of each number, right? Sum of int I for I in string of a. And we also need to raise to the power of n underscore digits. Now this will print the Armstrong number. Sorry, in equals. Okay, okay. So I'll write a number 153, and it is giving out 153. Very good. So we'll just take it and store it in a variable. We'll call the variable a, not a. Let's say test, and we say if test equal to a, the number is an Armstrong number. Else, the number is not an Armstrong number. All right. So this is how the concept will work. So I'll just explain it again what we just did. I'll just write the code here. We just did sum of, sum is also a function in Python. Sum of int I raised to the power number of digits for I in digits. I in string of a. So what we did here, we extracted all the digits 1, 5, and 3 as a list, and then individually added them and raised them to the power of 3, or the number of digits. This is what the shorthand for that looks like. You can also do it in a long way. Let's just say you want to do it in a long way. So we'll just go ahead and write for I in string a, and this will be the logic. So we are just adding the test variable again and again by every iteration. So this is just the shorthand for this. Okay, you can just see here we just did the same thing, and answer will also be the same. Okay, so String test is not defined. So 153 is an Armstrong number. Let us suppose we say some other number, 12. 12 is not an Armstrong number. So this is how the Armstrong number works. And comprehension is also there. I'll teach comprehension in coming lectures. Don't worry about that. Now we go to the pyramid printing. So this is like basics of logic building, the pyramid questions. I'll just show the logic for how you can print. Okay, so the pattern we want to print is this. So first of all, we'll have to know how you can print a rectangle block like this. So as you can see, there are 4 rows and 4 columns. So we need to iterate 1, 2, 3, 4 times first, then again 4 times in the second row, then third again 4 times in the third row, then again 4 times in the fourth row. So this by this we can easily say that we are using a nested loop. So we'll just do row number, let's say 5, and we'll just do for I in range row, for j in range I plus 1, print star, print. No, wait. For j in range row, then we'll just clear this terminal. I will just zoom everything for you. Now we just run and it will print this. Let's just say I want space. Then it will print the pattern as we said, a square pattern. Now, if you want n number of columns, suppose I want 2 columns, I can just do 2 and it will just print 2 columns, right? So this is how it works. I'll just make a dry run for you. Yeah. So value of I, value of j, and by every iteration, first the value of I is 0, but the value of j is 1. It will print 1 star pattern. Then value of I is 0 and here is 2, then again star, then 1 2, then star, then 1 2 1 0 1 1 1 2. It will just repeat itself, just the value of I will change. So this way it prints n number of stars, whichever stars you need. But now what we need to do is we need to cut out these stars to in order to get the required pattern as per the question. So if we think, the number of rows will remain same, right? But the number of stars that are printing will change. So there is something you can notice in this question, that in first row there is 1 star, second row there are 2 stars, third row there are 3 stars, fourth row there are 4 stars, fifth row there are 5 stars. So number of rows equals to number of stars, which is representing the number of rows I. So what if I write I here? See, we have our pattern. If I write 6, it will just print another row. Now This is pretty easy because we are just analyzing the pattern. Now it's the opposite. In first row there are five stars. In first row there are five stars. In second row four, three, two, one. So it's traversing in opposite direction. So what we can do? We can say I minus five, I minus row minus one. So what if we do this? It won't print anything because it won't iterate because the value of I is 6 itself. So 6 minus 1 is 1. Okay, so we know do this. Then we can do plus 1. No, it won't do the trick. So we want number from the opposite end, right? So we just do row minus I. So it will print the pattern in opposite direction. Now suppose we want another pattern, and that is a pattern in this way, like an equilateral triangle. What we want now? We want a centered equilateral triangle. Centered triangle. Okay, so this will remain the same of this. Now, if you notice something here, in a centered triangle, wait, I don't have my whiteboard opened. I'll have to open my whiteboard first. Whiteboard. Yeah, so if you see there is a pattern you can notice. So this is a centered triangle I'm making. So the pattern you have to notice is that there are spaces. All right. So in this time, you will also have to find a loop for spaces. This is also a space. 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 So yeah. So there are in row one, there are three spaces and one star. Then spaces reduce and stars increase. So star increase in what order? 1, 3, 5, 7. That means 2 and minus 1. We have found a pattern. Now how does these spaces decrease? So we can see there are four number of rows. So in first row 4 minus 1 3 spaces, 4 minus 2 2 spaces. In the same way it will go on. So how does the code look like here? For I in range row. Now before printing stars we have to print spaces. For spaces in range row minus we were subtracting row with 1 I, right? And we'll have to subtract 1 because we are starting with the number 0. Then we'll just print spaces. Now for j, or say stars in range 2n plus 1, because we are taking it from 0 again. If we were taking it from 1 we would write 2n minus 1, and we'll just print it. Okay, so there is some mistake. We have to also write print here. So this is how a centered triangle would work. And what is the question that is left? I don't think we have any questions left now. Let's just make a question on our own. So let's say I want to check if a number is palindrome or not. So what is a palindrome number? Palindrome number is a number that reads itself same from front and from back. For example, race car. Race car, if you read it from front or end, it will read the same. If you say Naman, Naman will be same if you read it from the back side or the front side. So we'll just say palindrome or not. So first of all, we'll take a string. Let's say S, then we'll input a string, and so if so what does the sentence mean here? So as I have already told you, to access a string, list, or anything, we use indexing, right? And we use indexing in bracket. So if I would have written as 0, I would have gotten the first character, then so on till Sn. But there is a thing called, just like in range function, you have starting point, end point, and skip points. In the same way, it's a method called slicing here. The first one is start index, which index you want to start, then till where you want to reach it, and how many you want to skip, like the same as this one. But if you write -1 here, the list traverses from the opposite end, or the string traverses from the opposite end. So if I just say, I'll just for I in S, print I, then I will say for I in S, uh, colon -1, print I. Now first of all, I'll just comment it out, and then I'll run this code. Let's say I say write Python, then NOHTPTYP. So it prints opposite, like from the opposite end. So it basically just reverses the string. Suppose if I write from index 0 to index 3 by skipping one index, let's say 10, by skipping two indexes. Okay, we'll just comment this one, we'll just remove this. We'll just write here, my name is Rajiv Agarwal from UP. I like to travel a lot. What will happen? It will just only traverse the things it wants to. Like from 0 index M, then skip 2, Y is skipped, M is also counted in the skip. M will print, then Y will be skipped, then space will be print, then N will be printed, N will be skipped, and A will be printed, then M will be skipped, E will be printed, then space will be skipped, I will be printed, and here 10 indexes are over. So this is what we call slicing. Okay. So palindrome concept is clear, I guess now. This way. Just say I write a string race car. So string is a palindrome. What if write Naman? String is also a palindrome. But if I write a no, string is not a palindrome. So it works on fine. So what if user enters uppercase in between? Then it will give out the wrong answer because you don't really know if it contains the same the other way too. For example, if I say I write race car, string is not a palindrome, right? So to clear this, we just convert s equals to s dot lowercase. That means anything that the user enters will be now converted into lowercase. Okay. So now if we write race car in the same way, it will tell if it's the palindrome or not. Now, if I were to ask a few more questions from this topic, let us suppose you want to enter sum of n digits in a list into a variable someone, or let's just say s1 with using list comprehension. How would you do that? To do that, you just do L1 equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You say S1 and sum x for x in L1. Then we'll print S1. It will print 15. So this was just an example to show how does the comprehension work in list strings and all of this stuff. This makes coding just a bit easier for us. Now, in the next lecture, maybe we'll start from functions. And functions, I'll just give an overview of functions. So, just suppose there is a machine that staples, stapler machine. Like it's not manual stapler, it's a staple machine. Or say a wrapping machine. You just put the notebook into the stapler machine and it will give the output. It will return your notebook as an output. All right. The same way, if you put a box into a wrapping paper, a wrapping machine, it will just wrap it and throw it out. So you don't need to build this wrapping machine every time, right? You have the wrapping machine and you are just putting the notebook into the wrapping machine and it is giving the output. So same in the same way, the Python functions also work. So suppose you want to, you know, convert degree Celsius to Fahrenheit. You won't write the code for conversion of Celsius to Fahrenheit every time, right? You can just use a machine, a function, all right? In Python's language, we call it a function. You won't use every line of code again and again. Rather than that, you will use a function. Now, uh, so now you want to use it, right? Now, suppose you want to find perimeter or CS, let's say curved surface area of circle, sorry, cylinder. Now to find the curved surface area of cylinder, you want every time just write 2 pi h, right? Whatever the formula is, you won't write it every time, right? You can just make a function out of it and reuse it every time, and you want to, you know, you can just avoid repeating the code. So that's how the function works. So the keyword that is used is def. This is a keyword that is used to define a function in Python, and then there is function name, and then there is colon and the code you have to write. So we'll discuss more about it in the next lecture. So thank you today for today. This is enough. What we did. We'll just revise what we did. We did Armstrong number. We did patterns. We did palindrome number, and we also read the function basics. Now I'd like to give you few questions in homework. This pattern questions. I'd like you to print this pattern, like just the opposite of what we printed in the first one. Then I'd like you to print this one. Like, you get my concept, right? An empty triangle in between and stars all around it. And I'd also like you to print a butterfly, like in this pattern, the Mahindra logo. This is quite easy, and this is a bit, no, I won't say it's hard, but you just have to think about it. I'll just give you a hint. You just print this, and after, just printing this line, you just print this line. Just combine both of the codes. It's pretty easy. And here also you can divide it in four parts. You can just reverse this, and you will get this one. And this, then you can just flip this, and this is the same thing here. So that is it for today.